Well, good afternoon, stroke evening, I guess. Welcome to the Weekly Armchair Podcast, partnered with Manchester Minds, who I think we will all need by the end of today's performance. I'm joined by Hamma and Reece. Very difficult day. Very difficult day. I think we got Hammer's cockerel saying hello as well.
The roosters
was loud.
Yeah, the rooster's saying hello, which is cool. Welcome to Hammer's Rooster. Gents, for once, and I'm lost for words. I just don't know what to say. I don't want to go all in on Ten Hag. I'd rather go in all in on the players, but you can't because Ten Hag takes Mainu off, who we then lose control. He takes Garnacho off. We then lose pace and attacking sense. Keeps Rashford on. Yes, I know he has the propensity to push some real passion and maybe penetrate the back line, but he's not doing it. Hoyland hardly gets a touch yet again. I mean, fuck it, I could go on and on and on and on and on. The only plus point for me was Big Harry M popped up with an absolute. Well, it was an easy header, to be fair, because the player he just pushed the player aside and bang. But I'm just lost for words, lads. I'm dribbling. I don't know what to say. Hammer, hit me.
Well, I'll start it with what I've been saying for I think several months now. Whenever I do end up coming on the show, and that is the entire squad's best consistency is inconsistency. When we went up 3-0, I wasn't necessarily excited, but I was like, okay, it's a championship side. We're doing what we should be doing. Let's go finish the game off or hold on to the game or however you want to look at it. And then like a lot of the people on, the pundits and everything that were saying, for that to break down so fast in 20 minutes is ridiculous. Because it was whenever they scored was into the 70th or early 70th, and then so we were 3-0 up with 20 minutes left. And I know you said you don't want to necessarily go on the manager or you don't want to necessarily go on the players. I mean, at this point, everybody has to take responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the owners were up there sitting in there, and I think every now and then the camera was panning to Ratcliffe and the other rat. And you can see the frustration on his face. I think some people have already said it on Twitter. It's probably gonna end up being an LVG thing, even if we somehow pull out the win. I think Ten Hag's fate is already decided. It's the issues at the back at the end is to the players, in my opinion. I know we want to say, right, Ten Hag took off certain people and it changed certain things. That's fine, but there's no excuse for and God damn it, I'm getting tired of using this word. I've used it the last couple of times I've been on the show. The capitulating so easily, right? Like just because you give up one goal shouldn't mean that everything goes to shit. And that seems to be what happens every time this team gets into some problems. I think there are a lot of players who may be playing their last games or have played their last game in a United shirt. And you said your positive was Maguire. My positive, and I hope whoever the manager is, he survives, was Diallo. When he came on, everything started flowing through him. And we created, I think, 2 or 3 chances with him being the one starting all of them. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say.
Yeah. Reece, what's your take on it, pal?
I mean, where do I start? Where do I start? I mean, it's not been a great it's not been a great 2 seasons, has it? Really, this season we hope for a lot more, and then quite quickly it tailed off, and we've had a few sort of worrying moments. Really, I think there was a spell in the FA Cup. Was it Ranić season? Might have been Ollie season, but like the FA Cup is one cup that, regardless of any other cups, can sort of turn your season around if you sort of win it, for me. And there was a lack of just general passion in it. And weirdly, when that goal went in from Coventry at the end, there there's a part of me that sort of wanted it to sort of stand, because I just thought we just don't deserve it. We just don't deserve. I saw fans cry, like Coventry fans with tears in their eyes. I saw players with, putting everything in to win that game and to play Man United. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're playing Casemiro, they're playing Bruno, they're playing the badge, they're playing Man United. It's the thing that they've thought about. As we've all grown up with as kids, and we're fans of that club, Man United is the kind of pinnacle of a football club that you play against or compete against. And for them to be playing against United at Wembley is incredible. For them to be nearly beating us in an FA Cup semi-final is just like things that literal dreams are made of. And, when you were seeing fans with tears in their eyes at the last minute, and the offside is this, and you've got Bruno shrugging his shoulders, like scoring that penalty and then saying something to the keeper who's basically,
I think I do agree that was bullshit, but I think the keeper was running his mouth to Bruno as he was walking up. Not 100% sure. That might have been why, but overall,
we're talking the difference here from Championship players on they're still on thousands of pounds a week, but you're talking about multi-millionaires compared to the difference in standard now is so significantly drastic. We're not talking here, guys, like, we're playing bottom of the league and we're top of the league in the same mid-table Championship average team playing arguably, multi-millionaires. And for Bruno to have the cheek, I mean, it showed at the end when we won the penalty shootout and all the players didn't celebrate with Højlund. They went and shook their hands, because if anything, fair play to the lads actually for doing that, because let's be honest, we nearly lost that game. And we should have lost that game.
I didn't celebrate either, but I felt a little bit bad when Højlund turned around and realized nobody was celebrating with him, because he just immediately stopped. He was like, all right, fuck.
Yeah, you see, I felt I was kind of on the same page with you, really. I wish the goal had stood. And the Coventry had won it. Not really.
They tweeted they deserve to win that. I think everybody
they tried to win the football match, and that's the thing. The second half of extra time, we were walking in places, we were passing it back in parts. We weren't attacking relentlessly, which is what we should have been doing. And look, any team that finds themselves 3-0 up should be in a position to eke out the game, irrespective of. And I just had a feeling. I phoned my lad up at half time. He's at the stadium, and he's always going, well done. I said, son, I've got a real bad feeling. There's something inside me that I could see. And I said to him, Coventry have played well. They've just not thought about what they're doing in the final third, and that vital pass just hasn't been there. And it only takes that one bit of luck to be able to transform players, transform a game. And that's kind of what happened with their second goal, coming off Wan-Bissaka. I mean, we can all argue about the penalty. I don't know what the handball rule is anymore, if I'm being brutally honest with you. I haven't got a clue. I don't know if anybody knows exactly what the handball rule is.
I think the only decision that came into that was his arms being extended at a certain point. And the only thing I can say on VAR is if they were extended as the ball while the ball was being kicked, or still extended after the ball was being kicked, then they're going to give it to him. Even though at the end he tried to tuck it, but it was out as the ball was in the air already.
It contradicts the Man City decision yesterday, though, doesn't it? In a way,
doesn't it? Just yeah. That's the thing. Nobody knows. I don't think anymore. And in the second half of period of extra time, did the ball come off his shoulder or did it come off the top of his arm? If it comes off the top of his arm, it's handball. It's a penalty. It's shoulder. So who knows? Just a quickie. Logie in the chat. Logie watching. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's likely to be a short show tonight because I think we're all massively pissed off. And it's just interesting to get any questions into the lads. We're not going to do player ratings, I don't think I'm not sure anyone would score highly on that one. But yeah, Reece, what impressed you about Coventry today? Because I was really impressed with them. Really impressed with them.
Something we're lacking, I think, leadership. Leadership. Yeah. I think general leadership. There's some big leaders on there. I mean, I can't remember all the names, but the lad who I think he hit the top corner on the second penalty. Was it
Thorpe? The one who would have scored the winning goal.
His goal. Yeah, Thorpe. Yeah.
Generally, he was excellent, and I think the centre half. I can't remember his name either. Was it Thomas? I
think so.
Yeah, just excellent. Just leaders. People who there's passion generally. I mean, we've all played football. Stu, you've played obviously, many years, and a lot of it's just, everyone can play football to a degree, but then when you've got people who kind of sort of drag you up through games, it sort of just reminds you about working hard and effort. And you've had those coaches who do that, but then when you've got guys who then take coaching and they're playing with you alongside you and they remind you about the things that you need to do. Yeah. That's leaders. That's people who are reminding you about, like, look, don't switch off. You have to mark somebody, or don't switch off. Yeah, you've scored a goal. Let's go get two, or whatever it may be. And it's just that. I mean, I think what I love about and what pisses me off sometimes about supporting Man United is that I always get reminded about the glory days. And obviously we loved that. I loved those days. I grew up in I was a kid of the 90s, so get into 98, 99, being 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I had the best of those years. When you see teams like Coventry who've, or maybe haven't, experienced those kind of heights, you see the passion in those days today when you see, them tearing up at just the fact that the team are putting so much effort in to try and compete against a team like Man United. And all we're asking of our players is to just acknowledge the fact that they are a big team and they've still got to put that effort in to show that the fans that they care about earning that sort of mega bucks. And I think football's just got to a point now, Stu, where I don't know that these big clubs now are just, there's so much detachment from the badge and then what it means and what it means in the city, because in the city it still means a lot. Yeah. And in the club, and I don't know if those players understand that. Some of those players.
No, I think you're right.
I'll just say, when you saw those kids come on, you saw Forsen come on, and some of the kids come on. You saw them playing with that kind of Ahmad was. You saw an energy in him. That's what you want to see more of. The Mainus and the Forsens and the Ahmads. I know Ahmad's not a kid coming through the academy system, but I think the fact that he's been loaned out so many times, you can see that he wants to play for United. Just that passion. That's what I want to see. Just passion and, fighting for every game. And it's just so mixed bag. It's so up and down. It's frustrating, to be honest.
It's terrible. I mean, look, I'm in the 70s. I grew up in the 70s when Manchester United were average at best. Even in the 80s, we were average at best. And then we suddenly turned that corner under Sir Alex, 92, 93 onwards. And we became this unstoppable machine. And I think it's difficult for a lot of the fan base, understandably, to not kind of get where we are right now. I mean, Julio quite rightly says, if we got beat 3-0 today, then, I'd be blaming myself for certain elements of the game that I should have prevented. And so you should. He made mistakes today. Erik ten Hag did again, but as I said, by removing Mino and by removing Garnacho. But you're right. When Ahmed came on, he did a lot more in that 30 minutes or however long he was on the pitch than Rashford did for a lot of the game. And Eriksen didn't have the kind of role and real kind of. I can't even think what I'm saying. I'm not pissed off. He didn't change the game, did he, Eriksen? And he should be. A player of that caliber should be coming on and changing the game. Casemiro's penalty. Yeah, control. Thanks. Here we go. Casemiro's penalty. Fucking disgraceful. I mean, absolutely fucking disgraceful. at least Onana pulled off a good save, and all right, the one lad skied it. Okay, fair enough, it happens, doesn't it? But Casemiro's penalty was just woeful at best, and I don't know where Ten Hag goes from here, to be honest. And I think that's the big key. I mean, if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe right now, you've got one of the biggest headaches right now, currently, to decide what to do. And I'm kind of, for the first time this season, I don't know whether or not it's best if we remove him tonight, tomorrow, and just trusting somebody to get us over the end of the season. I don't know. But then if we do that, does that let the players off? Do the players get another free pass? If they do, I think he's got such a headache.
No, I think it just goes. It's how he has to approach it. As the new owner, I think he has to let. Basically, I think most players have to be told, y'all don't have a guaranteed anything next season. Whether it's even if players who know they might be staying at the club, nobody's giving themselves a guaranteed starting spot. Bar who. I think Bruno is gonna take it, even though he's been poor because of the armband, and then maybe Mano. Everybody else has either had an overly poor season, injury riddled season, or an up and down season. And then some of them, like I said, they're playing their last games in the jersey. My issue on doing that, and I'm not opposed to it. I think I've seen a lot of a lot of fans saying now, even though they've been back in Ten Hag, like you said, it might be time to do it, because that was just a beyond frustrating game, and poor on so many levels. But who, even as an interim, who, right? Like because in my head, they had some. I think I see it right. Somebody has said they're making a decision at the end of the season, right? We're not going to fire him during the season. We're going to wait till the end and make the decision. Either way, if they do it now and need an interim, if they do it at the end of the season and need a full replacement, who? And now y'all got me sounding like an owl. Thank you.
Well, no,
that's the issue. I just don't see anybody, like you said, somebody to get us over the hump. I don't see anybody who can even get us over the hump.
You see, that's been my thing about the Eric Ten Hag situation is, who do we bring in? And Reece will know this because it's been in our group, hasn't it, this afternoon? Oh, I'll bring in Nigelsman, I'd do this, I'd do that, and all that kind of stuff. But it's all right saying you'd bring somebody in, but actually back it up. Give us a reason for why that said person who should be the new manager. Look, I think I've supported Eric Ten Hag. Hammer knows this through thick and thin. I'm always a players guy. You lose a game of football 90% of the time. I think it's down to us, the players. And I've always said that when I've sat in the dressing room, we've lost it. I've always said, look, lads, it's us out there. It's us that isn't running that extra 10 yards. It's us that can't pass a 2-yard fucking ball. It's us that can't head a simple cross. It's us that can't do this. It's us that can't do that. But the change of the game for me, and I don't know what your feelings are on this, Reece, was the substitution of Mano. You took that calmness out of an erratic performance and against a team that are just up for it, and we'll run for 95 minutes, which they did, plus the extra 30 on top. They kept running because, as you quite rightly said, Reece, they've got 0 to lose, have they? They were the underdogs. They got nothing to lose. So you take Mano out of the game. I wonder what was his reasoning. What do you think his reasoning was for that?
Who knows? I think you guys are right, and I think that there's a lot of reasons why. I think as United fans, I don't think we're quick to jump. I don't think we're Chelsea fans. I don't think we're fans who jump at a manager. I'm not saying Chelsea fans are, by the way, but I think they have in the past. Jumping at a manager when he's not playing particularly, or we're not playing particularly well, and want a change. I think we put up with a lot for longer periods of time. But I think that the issue is, for me, the Mano thing is just one example of it in that game. I think he's done it throughout the season, where he's made odd changes at odd times, defensive at the wrong times. swapped people like for like, or just done odd change. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head now, but I'm sure if I went away and I could go away and give you plenty of examples of it. Europe, I think we did that quite a bit. We were poor. We've given away a lead. I think the concerning thing for me is that, Julio mentioned earlier on about throwing leads away, 3-0 lead, and we've thrown it away. Yeah, we've thrown it away against Coventry. We've thrown leads away all season.
All season.
Away all season, and that comes down to management, because you're in control of the game. You're up 2 or 3-0, and then all of a sudden a change happens, and then you're losing a game. That is a management decision. That's the reason you're losing a game, because you're winning it, and then you've gone and lost because a change has happened. So, yeah, you've got it right, but then equally, you don't know why you've got it right, because then you've made a change and you've got it wrong. So we're losing. So I don't know. I don't know, Stu. I mean, for me, I like the guy. He's a likable character. You go for a pint with him, or you go, you could do that with him. But in terms of managing Man United, he's not very likable, because I think he just doesn't get it. He doesn't get what we're after, and I don't think he's at the level that we need. Unfortunately, I just don't think he's at that level, and I think he wants to do well. I think he thinks he says all the right things in the media, but then when really you just wanted to hear him, sometimes you want him to come out and say the players were shit. I know he's not going to swear, but he's going to say the players were terrible. This is what we're doing, and for some reason, not target certain players, but say we were awful today. But instead, he tries to deviate from it, and he tries to divert. And we, as fans, we want to hear him just say, we've been crap today. I got it wrong, or whatever else. But he tries to deviate, and it just makes him sound worse.
You're right. You're right. And I've been a big advocate of calling out players, Reece. I have, mate. Hammer's shook his head at me a few times because I said, call the fucker out. I don't care. Because you've got that. You have to have the responsibility. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm with you on the Bruno thing. Sorry to bring it back up, but I was embarrassed by that as a Manchester United fan. I was embarrassed. You just scored the penalty. Just walk away. So the keeper was chirping, big fucking deal. Just walk away. Let it go. You
expected to score that goal. You expected to score.
You've brought that. You've scored against Edison from the spot. You scored against Alisson from the spot. These are probably the two best keepers in the Premier League, and you're scoring these penalties on a regular basis. Just move on, go back. I was also pleased to see, as you quite rightly pointed out, Reece, the players not celebrate, because I'd have had to switch the TV off if they'd gone running toward Hoyland, because that would have been again embarrassing. They did the right thing by doing it and not celebrating so much but the thing is, if I'm in that dressing room, I'm going to sit there. I'm just going to bang my fucking head, and I'm not going to fucking speak. I don't want to hear anything from anyone. I don't. My team lost 2-0 this morning in an over 50s Premier League match. We lost. Worcester Premier League. We lost 2-0, and I stormed off like a child, like a petulant child, because I couldn't fucking believe it. What I'd seen, during and unfold the game. And I sat in the change room, didn't say a word to nobody, because I can't. Because if I do, I'm going to start losing it. And there's certain players in that dressing room as they come in and they're fucking a bit fucking this and a bit fucking that. You're just going to fucking land a right on them. Because if they don't care like you care, fuck off. I don't want you anywhere near the club. I don't want in the dressing room. And I saw it again. I think you're right about Dalot. Surprised the fuck out of me the last 6 weeks. If I'm being honest, I thought he's been as good as I've ever seen him in a Manchester United shirt. I really do. Casemiro played okay today, but that penalty, I fucking strangled him if we'd lost. I'd absolutely strangled him.
He tried to
right time to mention that we're sponsored by Mine Manchester. If anyone,
sorry, yes, yeah, sorry, guys. I'll need it tonight. Yeah, I'll need it tonight. I'm just saying that you get into that mindset. You cross that white line. You should.
No, I totally get it, mate. Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah,
100%.
John's made a great point here. Hammer. He says he didn't think it was right, but he probably thought Mino was young, and by bringing on Ericsson, you have that experience. He can keep the ball. I think it's a good point.
To be honest, though, I mean, John's right, but I'm sorry, Army. I know you probably want to come in there. But like, he's right, but he's playing it like it's not a computer game. If the kid's playing well and he's not showing signs of fatigue, what else are we playing for? We're not going to the Champions League final. We aren't competing in the Premier League. So just let the kid's fit. He's 18, 19 years old. Just let him play. Oh, no, I need to bring out. It's not FIFA. Just let him fucking play. It's more than an hour. He's like an 18-year-old kid should be able to play for more than an hour when he's that good. And he was playing well against Coventry. It's not a big ask, is it?
No, I don't think it's a big ask. No. What do you think, Alan?
And even if, and then on the keep the ball part, right, like that part too, and like we should say, it's not a video game. If you're gonna break somebody off and you want to talk about keep the ball and control the rest of the game, you bring fucking McTominay off, because McTominay can't keep the ball to save his life, and and I'm sorry, as far as I can see, he was a ghost today as well. So you want to control the game, sit Manu back in the six. Have Casemiro talking to him the entire time for the rest of the game, and have Bruno and Ericsson control the midfield. If that's how you want to control the game, you don't take the kid off. And just in terms of it being the kid part, I agree. If he was a kid struggling, I understand that, but he's been one of the most composed player for this whole freaking season.
Yeah, but just going on about McTominay, his first goal, and I'm sure you both are going to agree with me now. Question: why wasn't Højlund where McTominay was?
He went near post.
But why did he go near post? A striker.
I think the kid alternates his runs so much because he doesn't know who or where or when a pass or a cutback is going to be played to him. No, I get what you're saying. That should have been Højlund tapping that in. But
it's all day long. That's a number 9. I fear I'm having to go with him, and I shouldn't.
We're not experts, and we all agree. But even the experts that sort of agree with, I think, what we said. What style of football do we play? Do we want to play a possessive type football? Do we want to play counter-attacking? Do we want to play direct, where we've got wingers who cross? Everything about our game contradicts every style that you would want to play. We haven't got players in the team who would be possessive, technical players. We haven't got wingers who cross balls in, so we can't be direct and get it right. Everything contradicts what we're trying to do. It doesn't make any sense. It's a mess.
There was a point in the game where all of our attacking players were playing central. Rashford and Garnacho too, and I didn't know what the fuck. I didn't know what was going on. Like, there was nobody outside, and everybody was trying to play intricate in the middle around the edge of the box, and I was like, they're just gonna crowd like it's anyways. But yeah, just off of what Reece is saying, like, it just seems like it gets to a point where they are just like, even if we start and let's say just for conversation, say Ten Hag says, okay, we want to do this today. It seems like at a certain point they just start freestyling, and in terms of the players, and then it just
they do.
I mean, in his defence, because I know we've like sort of called him out a little bit tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, we
a little bit.
Yeah, which is unlike us.
I don't think he's got the personnel to.
No, we don't. Yeah.
But the thing is, you've got to. If you had a couple of your Stu, if you had a team now and it had a certain style and it was winning games, and then you had a couple of 3 injuries to your star players, and you went. I mean, and certain teams like Man City and maybe Liverpool, I've got the luxury of bringing a kid from the academy and it fits straight into the system. It doesn't affect the system. They still want to play the same way. It still works.
Yeah.
But then if you have a system where, am I still here? Am I jumping a little bit?
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Oh, sorry. But if where we obviously we didn't have a system to begin with, but then we have injuries. He's got to change that style. Okay, we have to now play a certain way because we can't play the way we played before because so and so is injured and we're obviously struggling. So let's play more direct. Let's play more, simple. Let's play it wide. Let's get crosses in the box. Let's get Højlund on the end of it. We don't seem to know how we want to formulate attacks, and this has gone on from Ollie, Stu, on it, and Hammer.
Yeah, it has.
It's gone from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where we still didn't know. I mean, he played more of a counter-attacking style with Rashford, and he got the best out of Rashford and Martial possibly.
Yeah.
Against City when we had less of the ball, but then into Ranić and into him, we don't seem to have transitioned into what it is we want to play. I just don't get it, what it is we're trying to do.
No, you're right. So 2 points on that. And I've advocated we change our style. So a couple of group chats I'm in on WhatsApp, and we're all in, 2 of them, I think. Anyway, last night, everybody called it Casemiro at the back, didn't they? Everybody called it. Everybody in a group. Why didn't he try 3 at the back? Why didn't he just try it? Because if we could call it and we were right, I can tell you now, Mark Robbins would have called it, because he won't deviate from his 4-3-3. He won't do it. He won't move away from it. And the only time we've changed our tactics this season, to an extent, is the first half brilliance against City, where Guardiola was basically crying to the referee. They can't do that. They can't play the long ball. They can't do this. And we absolutely cut Rodri and De Bruyne out the game because Onana got it up long. And we destroyed City in the first half. Yeah, we conceded a couple of chances, but you do it. Guardiola was hopping mad on the touchline. What's going on here? Fourth official, they can't do that. Tell him to play 4-3-3 because they didn't know what to do. And then what did we do? Second half, we came out within the first 2 minutes. We've reverted back to type. It's as if Guardiola had got the ref to go into our changing room and say, "Eric, you can't do that. Pep's not happy. You can't keep doing that." They just didn't know how to handle us. We've not done anything like that since. Nothing. Absolutely zero. So today, I'd have done something different. I'd have popped in Casemiro and alongside Mino, maybe brought Anthony on the in on the left, Garnacho out on the right. You would have played. Look, I'm not saying, by the way, before anyone has a go, I'm not saying that Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, and Dalot would have been a perfect back 3. I'm not, but it would have been a workable back 3 because they all know what they're doing, and then we could have overrun Coventry, and they wouldn't have been expecting 2 at the top. They wouldn't have been expecting a Højlund and a Rashford through the middle or whoever. But we don't do that. And the pitch is, by the way, Reece, the pitch is way, way big for us to be able to do that and accommodate what we need to do. But we don't do that. Lads, we're 32 minutes in, which is amazing, really, because I didn't think we'd get this far because of the way on. But
time flies when you're having fun, Stu. That's what time flies when you're having fun, mate. That's what they say.
It does.
Having fun.
Yeah, that is true. I guess the question next is, where do we go as a club from here? I mean, I know it's a finger in the air and see what sticks, but where do we? Any one of you can take that. Where do we go from here?
I'll just try to say quick, and kind of probably what Julio said there in his comments. Ineos better have a long-term plan, and they better have a ABC, as in, like, if they're deciding to stick with Ten Hag, they better have ridiculous plans in terms of, like, domino effects ready to go. And if they're not, they better have that plan B ready to go from the jump, from whenever they make that decision. It needs to be a consistent thing in terms of, like, creating a direction. I think one of the issues that we've been saying for a long time, and we can potentially say it here as well, every manager is getting a ridiculous mix of the last however set of managers, however styles they wanted to play, tried to play, didn't work. It needs to be if Ineos wants to make it work, it needs to be a complete restart with a chosen direction and not deviate from that. And that's if they can.
What do you think, Reece?
Maybe I'm slightly naive with this, and I hope I'm not. But obviously, with this, the Dave Brailsford coming in, and obviously Ineos coming in generally, I'm hoping we're in a better place now in terms of making a sacking and making a reappointment than we have been over the last sort of 10, 11 years since 2013. I might, again, like I say, I might be quite naive with that.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, even
I
am naive. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the trouble we've got at the minute is the lack of candidates out there.
There's too many big clubs, isn't there, Reece, looking for top managers?
Yeah, I mean, Thiago Motta's a potential one. I think he's done really, really well, hasn't he, at the minute? I think Xavi Alonso he's probably going. He's Liverpool or Bayern Munich bound. I don't think we're ever going to get near that. And I think the level we're at the minute, in terms of what we're doing currently, it's putting players, it's putting managers off. You know, Stu, you're shaking your head there because you know exactly what I was about to say.
I know.
What I was about to say, because we're diminishing as a potential candidate for anybody that wants to come and play or managers or coach for us. It's sad. That they're the things that get me more upset than anything else. It's the stature of where we're going.
We are that poison chalice. We are that poison chalice, aren't we?
In so many areas now, we're so far behind, and I'm not saying that with any smile on it. It's far from the opposite. I'm saying that with realism. We're so far behind, and yeah, I'd cry if I wasn't so angry, to be honest.
You know, the only thing that's not making this miserable for me, and it has nothing to do with United, are my Knicks. And I'm sorry, but they're the only positive thing going on for me right now. Well, and what I will say, just to bring it back into United, because I know, you know, we're not everybody's happy when I start talking about American stuff, is I would want a team exactly how the Knicks are right now. We have a star, and everybody else is their goddamn role player, leaving every single thing they have out on the pitch, the court, the court every single time they step out on the court. That's what I want.
So I if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd have said you've got to stick with Ten Hag for next season. You've got to give him a foundation to be able to work to.
That's what I've been. Yeah.
But right now, at this point, I can't get past what I've seen today, and I'm kind of struggling with that. And we've been linked with a variety of managers, De Zerbi being one of them. I think he's a buzz manager personally. I think somebody's just dragging the name out the air. Yeah. I think that the Sporting Lisbon guy's going to Liverpool, isn't he? I can't remember his name. And I think Alonso will end up at Munich because Nagelsmann turned them down, didn't he? They've gone back for Nagelsmann again. He wants to stay in Germany, by all accounts. So that's it. Yeah. That list is getting smaller because Bayern Munich looking for a gaffer, Barcelona are looking for a gaffer, Liverpool are looking for a gaffer. I don't know whether Ancelotti might hang up his and quit Madrid at the end of the season if they win an unprecedented 15th.
No, I think what Julio said is that what's going on there. I think Alonso is in a stay at Leverkusen for one more.
I think that's a good takeover. I think that's a good move for Alonso to see what he can do. So Bayern are still looking for a manager then, you know, and maybe even Allegri moves from Juventus. So that's potentially 5 clubs of better standing right now than Manchester United. They're going to be cherry picking the great managers. So that leaves us with Zidane potentially, and I'm like, it doesn't excite me. It just doesn't excite me. So I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to think who out there would absolutely excite me. That's actually got the balls to coach and manage Manchester United, and I don't know where they are, who they are. Like you say, maybe Thiago Motta. I don't know.
I don't know why we look. I mean, I'm talking for players as well as managers here. I don't know why we look away at Europe. I don't know why. I mean, for me, United's always been, and I don't mean this from a point of view of anything to do with like the fact that I want it to be British. That's not the reason I say this. I just felt like that, like with your Giggs and your Scholes and your Beckhams and your Nevilles and your Butts, we always had a massive core of that. We had a massive, and I felt like that was the reason we were so strong. And it didn't work so well with England when that came around, but that's kind of a different debate altogether. But I don't know why we don't look at players who do it well in the league. We don't look at managers who do it well in the league. Why do we not do that? Why do we always automatically think abroad? Why do we do that? Because the league, we talk about the Premier League being the best league in the world. So the players who are playing well in this league are the best players in the world. Why are we looking abroad?
No, I mean, we've got a history of doing it with players, haven't we? We took Valencia out of Wigan. He was at the top of his game at the time. We took Lewis Sahara out of Fulham, top of his game at the time. We've had Lukaku out of Everton at that time, was playing well. Rooney, good young players. We've taken young players in. Rio Ferdinand from Leeds, Stevie Bruce at the time from Norwich. Pallister from Middlesbrough. We've taken these players.
Rio from Leeds,
at the time. Yeah, at the top of the game. We all go in. He's English. He's the best in England. We want him. You should be coming to Manchester. We would have got Shearer if Keegan hadn't kept plugging. The best striker in the UK. And
we got Andy Cole.
We got Andy Cole. Yeah, but
the list goes on. It's like
Dwight York. We pulled Dwight York out of Villa, didn't we? Yeah, come on, Yorkie. Sorry, you've done 20 there. We'll have you now, mate. You've got Teddy Sheringham out of Tottenham. We've plugged these players, these big. Berbatov, year before at Tottenham, was the best player in the Premier League, wasn't he? So what did we go and do? We had him. We took him.
There was a player called Van Persie. I don't know if everybody knows him. Who played it.
Exactly. Yeah, best in.
Get the players out of the league that are playing well now. Like that's what we do. Point. Have you got a player at your Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City? We'll take your player. And we'll be the best. That's what we used to do. We haven't got that anymore. We're not doing it anymore. Yeah. We're going to European clubs and hoping that these players are going to be the next big thing, and they're not. And I
think also somehow what you're talking about too is also just learning how to is the issues of building a team. I think Stu, for a couple seasons we were talking about that spine for a while, and we thought we had fixed some of that, but that seems to go down the shitter too. And yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but what in my mind it just turns into you need to build the framework, and then you bring in the flashy players, right? So like you bring in the midfielders that know how to play Premier League football. You 100%. Bring in the defenders to bring in, and then you bring in a Ronaldo from sport. You know what I'm saying? Then you go and get those flashy players.
You need one or two. You need one or two like those players. But like you're right, Hammer. It's like you get the core of it. You get the core of it, and in the core it being the working hard, the discipline, the work ethic, and based around players who can compete in a league that they're used to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just out whether they can do it in the league, and you're looking at Ireland now, and I'm sure that I've got every faith in that kid.
He'll come good, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, at the minute he's struggling. There's no doubt in that he's struggling because he's trying to find his feet. He's trying to find his feet in the league when the team's already performing pretty poorly anyway, which doesn't help him. But he's an example of it. I'm not trying to call him.
I think he's a good one. Look, there's a couple of things I'd do. I'd be trying everything to get Palhinha out of Fulham. And Robinson, their fullback. I'll be trying to get both of those. I'd maybe even look at Jarrod Bowen out of West Ham to help Hoyland, just as a short-term solution. I'd do everything I could. I'd be as cheeky as fuck, and I'd be knocking on fucking Todd Bowley's door. You're deep in the financial mess, sunshine. We'll do your deal for Cole Palmer. We would have done that under Fergie. We'd have been that cheeky. We would have gone to Chelsea. We would have said we want Palmer. We'd have done this. We've got to start doing that type of. I mean, 100% agreement with you. We're getting the rooster in.
It's time. We need to call it.
Get the rooster. I've got to be honest. I like the look of their Coventry's fullback today. I can't remember his name. I just like the look of him. He was short, stocky, strong, quick. All right, his final ball wasn't good, but he would learn. And we've got to start doing this type of thing. Would we go for Branthwaite? I don't know. I've never really been impressed by him. I'm sure people would tell me he's a better player than what I've seen. But would we go for him? I don't know if I would. But I tell you, I would go for Max Kilman out of Wolves. Fabulous player, young, English, Wolves captain. When you like knock on the door, come on, Max. We'll have you as well. This is what we're going to do with you, Max. We're going to have Palhinha in front of you, Robinson at right back. It's a pipe dream, isn't it, getting Cole Palmer? Yeah, we know that. But Cole Palmer, Jarrod Bowen, this is what we need to do because we've got to get rid of Martial. Although I read somewhere, I read somewhere he's agreed to deal with Inter Milan. I don't know how true that is, but I read that deal. Rashford, take some money from Rashford. Do you move McTominay on and just use the money, for FFP? Do you move? Here's a question for you, lads.
I know where this is going.
Question, but here's a question: what do you do with Maguire now? I think you move him on to West Ham personally, but right now he's been as good as anyone else. At centre half, he was absolutely derided last season. People hated him, and so what do you do with him? So I don't know, lads. I don't know.
I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, you'd like to think you'd keep him, but it's tough, isn't it? I think if you can replace him, we've actually been lucky with injuries in that position, have we, this year? So it's difficult to sort of say. But and obviously, Evans will be retiring, no doubt.
Lindelof to Italy, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think shockingly we're going to need. I think Martinez is the only set center back for next year. Maguire might, but like we're talking about, I think they might sell him just to cash in to have the money, and everybody else is either injury prone or not, or Evans, like you said, Evans retiring. So we're gonna need 2-3 center backs.
I agree.
Yeah.
Gents, it's 46 minutes. I think we'll call it a day. It has gone relatively quickly. Thank you very much for people who've commented and everybody who's been watching. It's been absolutely brilliant. Apologies, we've been a little bit downbeat, but I'm sure everybody can understand why. Hammer, can you just let people know where they can find you on your socials?
Yeah. The most places is going to be on X or Twitter or however you want to call it, at Hamma United. That's where I'm mostly active. Maybe when I get more active with some other ones, I'll start sharing those too.
No problem. And Reece?
Yeah, similar time. I'm at the Man United Pod on X, Twitter, whatever you want. Again, which way you want to call it. And I'll tweet every now and again, and catch me on there.
Excellent. And you can abuse me at Stu Woolley as usual if you so wish. Guys, it's been a shocking day. Thank you very much for taking the time to join me. Thank you all in the comments and everybody who's watching. We're out of here. Thank you ever so much. Take care. Bye.